Back in 1964, Eugene Stoner introduced the world to the AR-15, the direct impingement design with a multi-lug rotating bolt in addition to the .223 round, which was invented specifically for this platform, gave us something we never really had before, at least on a mass production scale. An accurate, light recoiling, effective, and reliable rifle with excellent range packed into a featherweight package. Eugene Stoner lived long enough to see the widespread adoption of his magnum opus, but unfortunately he passed away in 1997, unaware that his rifle, which was pretty good, would be perfected over 20 years later. The AR-15 was an exciting accomplishment, but it wasn't quite arousing. Meet the PEN-15. That was a deliberate homophone, by the way. It takes more than just one man with initiative to make something greater than himself. Rather, it was a million men who came together. A million men who assembled to achieve something that Stoner never could in his lifetime. In fact, we have a pending lawsuit against InRange TV and Brownells because we have the real What Would Stoner Do rifle, and imagine the jury when I bust Exhibit A in their jury faces. Back in 2018, I made a plea to my TFBTV brothers and sisters, you out there watching. I promised you that if you sent me the parts, whatever parts you wanted to send, I would build the greatest rifle this world has ever known, which later became the PEN-15. This didn't happen overnight though, and for that matter, there are still some improvements that could be made to this 100% perfect gun to make it a 110% perfect gun. Today, the story of the PEN-15. The first PEN-15 was really just a meme that was virtually unusable, kind of like what the AK-50 will be whenever it's done. We called the original PEN-15 mod the PEN-15 WAD 0. The WAD 0 had an A2 buttstock, a customized lower receiver with beautiful possum engraving completed by an Appalachian eunuch artisan, an upper receiver clad in Ameriflage duct tape, and of course, the centerpiece of the PEN-15, the tasteful Dick and Balls mono grip. Some people think that the Dick and Balls grip is a joke or that it looks funny, but some people are mental infants. Ask yourself this: how many times a day do you grip an AR-15 to use it? Serious question. Depending on how much sugar-free Monster I've consumed over the course of the day, I'm getting in free reps multiple times a day on a grip system that I've worked with for nigh on 40 years. That applies to all of us. And if you write for Recoil magazine, chances are that your grip rep sessions are much more frequent, vigorous, and likely with your squad. If you have a PEN-15, you're subconsciously training like you fight every day. Establishing intuitive, subconscious control of the rifle is one fewer thing you're going to have to think about in a gunfight. The WAD 0 has no real issues behind the barrel nut, pun. I'm not naming any names, but we had a viewer who is a complete and total idiot, Mabs, send in a heavy barrel almost 3 feet long in an extinct caliber 25-45 sharps. I bought 40 rounds of ammo for $60. Absolutely ridiculous. To make matters worse, some wise ass sent in a handguard that was like 5 or 6 inches long, meaning that you basically had to use an MP5 grip on a gun that had 30-something inches of bull barrel at the end of it. So the balance was terrible. Again, unusable. The gas tube, which is of course one of the more fragile components and something that gets extremely hot, was also completely exposed for most of the length of the barrel. Oh, and the adjustable gas tube that someone sent wouldn't work without constant tweaking, so I blew almost all the ammo just trying to get the gas tube to work. It also had this cookie cutter muzzle brake that Stubbs sent in, fairly large brake. That just made things worse. Is this what Eugene Stoner himself felt like the first time he failed? Certainly. While viewers did send in several sets of testicle foregrips, presumably to counterbalance the barrel, there was not enough real estate in this little pistol-sized handguard to accommodate these necessary components. Moreover, the sight radius was extremely limited. The purple 3D printed horse penis bayonet, also sent in by viewer Stubbs, could not be effectively mounted in a way where it would be functional. Back to the drawing board we went to create the WAD 1. The biggest issue for the PEN-15 WAD 0 was ammunition availability. Shortly after the barrel was sent, the ammo went the way of Hickok 45. That is to say, I'm pretty sure that 25-45 sharps died in 2019. Accordingly, we reached out to Aero Precision for a lighter and shorter replacement in the caliber invented by God and Stoner themselves, and they were more than glad to send us a 416 stainless steel match barrel in a standard 16-inch length. It was a cosmetic blem that they couldn't use, but that was fine because we spray painted it a lovely light blue hue as a tribute to the American sky. We shrouded the stainless match grade barrel with a lightweight pink aluminum Keymod free float handguard. We went with Keymod for what should be obvious reasons. The boys over at Gretna Gunworks put it together for us, but this is what happens when you bring a PEN-15 to Gretna Gunworks to get worked on. It gets worked on. I'm looking at potentially adding like a vertical foregrip or a bipod, but I might need a little help with that to make sure that the design matches the overall aesthetic. The longer free-floating handguard here allowed for a greater sight radius, and we of course went with the OK Bird front and rear sight set, which we had several copies. This was good because we broke every single copy we had. The 3D printed plastic is so fucking fragile that if you even lean the rifle against a wall, you're going to lose some fingers. If anyone has a metal set, we'd love to buy it from you. We still have room for some minor tweaks, but the core of the PEN-15 is in place. It was time to test the WAD 1 at the premier AR-15 training institute in the world, Thunder Ranch. I put it in a Pelican rifle case, and I know you guys are going to think that I'm joking. I'm dead serious here, but I actually got called into a back room by TSA at Reno Airport and interrogated about it. I've got no way of proving this because when I asked the TSA officers, I had to ask, like, hey, can I please record this encounter? You can imagine what they said. But with Ryan as my witness, 2 TSA agents looked, in my opinion, for way too long at an x-ray of my Pelican case with the PEN-15 inside of it before they let us go on our way. We then drove the rifle through California, which probably would have earned a smooth 10-year prison sentence if we had been pulled over with this thing. The bright side would have been that maybe the PEN-15 would have been confiscated and reverse engineered by the California Highway Patrol to be the standard long gun for California police officers. So we finally made it to Thunder Ranch, and that's when I decided it was time to reveal the gun to the instructors to get their approval before I showed it to Clint and Heidi Smith, because I was really nervous about that. My boy Johnny B was also there for the big reveal. I would describe the reaction as positive and covetous.
Yeah. So I didn't know that you were asking me to do this because I was a model for this thing. That's cool. This feels very familiar.
So
I don't know why.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, right? Oh my god, I love it.
With the instructor corps having approved the PEN-15, it was time to show it to Clint himself. Clint Smith is a true disciple of Eugene Stoner. I wanted to make sure he wasn't disappointed. He's used the AR-15 and the M16 since it was first issued in Vietnam. Clint's urban rifle course revolves around the AR-15. It was first introduced in 1983, and now it's one of the most highly regarded training curricula in the training industry. It was only right that Clint got to personally handle and inspect the PEN-15 WAD 1 before we took it to the range.
We'll take that off for you, Herford. Thanks. Well, this is it's a prototype AR-15. People thought you would love it especially.
Yeah, I think it's a nice set of dick and balls. Full balls on the front.
So with Clint's full and enthusiastic approval, myself, Johnny B, and Ryan all took the PEN-15 to Thunder Ranch's Adam Brown range. The Brown range features steel, full-size silhouette targets that go from 100 to 700 yards out. It was time to see what the PEN-15 could do.
You're so low.
Got him!
Now, hits inside of 100 yards were not as easy as they should have been with a regular AR-15, but we found that even trying to hit a man-sized target at 200 yards with the OK sign rear sight was far, far too imprecise to guarantee hits. But the good news is that the PEN-15 was reliable and it had a great first trial run.
Did you just say the PEN-15 is soft?
I'm not going to be baited into this conversation.
Baited?
Yeah, because you're the best one of all of us in that. You're like a master baiter.
After I got acclimated to the manual of arms for the PEN-15, I decided to run it through the Punisher, which is a multifaceted cover concealment and movement range at Thunder Ranch that simulates different types of cover and concealment, from phone booths to truck beds, all on the same firing line.
Shooter ready?
Yep.
Stand by. Threat.
Fuck, this thing's wet. Woo! You made it.
The PEN-15 performed well enough at targets inside of 100 yards I was shooting at, and actually logged a decent time for the Punisher, even though I've run that course a few times myself. On the upside, the PEN-15 Wad 1 has been thus far 100% reliable. I think the potential for mechanical accuracy is there, but practical accuracy, not so much. The problem is that the iron sights were too imprecise and too fragile, with every 3D printed prototype breaking during the pre-evaluation, or P-evaluation phase, I should say. Of course, the concept of the gun is perfect, but it could be perfecter with a few tweaks. With your help and with your suggestions, we could improve it to be the leanest, meanest, peenest carbine the world's ever seen, and I've begun work on the PEN-15 Wad 2, as you can see here, as we included a vortex optic on it. I'll tell you this, I've done some preliminary accuracy testing with the PEN-15 Wad 2, and the results, solid as a rock. But I'm still making some tweaks here and there, so stay tuned. In a couple of weeks, we will bring you a bona fide versus video of the PEN-15 against some very expensive challengers. Does the PEN-15 stand tall or go limp in the face of competition from other premium builders? We'll give everyone an update soon enough. I'll let you know how the PEN-15 is coming, pun. Thanks for watching, everyone. I know that both the Lord and Gene Stoner himself are in heaven smiling upon us. Take care, my friends.